I think that people are looking at this video just, kind of little project for quarantine time.
Yes, it
They
starts like that. Yeah.
don't take about this nothing like a seriously. So because
Mhm.
specifically in this idea, there is not like direct information what we're going to do next, you know. So what we're
Mhm.
going to focus their attention for, like we were talking about breathing and doing some things, together, being on different parts of the world, just in case,
Yes.
So they didn't see this they didn't see the big picture. They saw only
Right.
us dancing and making some funny, movements,
Yes.
unbalanced and
Yeah.
jumping left, right, left, kick, boleo, boom, 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 final position, boom.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
92%.
Most people are their focus is very small, but
Mhm.
actually we need to, you and your partner, your partner, the music, your partner, the music, everybody else, the state of the floor, the track that's playing. It's like I remember one of your presentations at Taboo when you were talking about how much of our attention is paid to, is it the visual acuity and the
Yes,
bandwidth?
the speed
How
of
much more?
senses.
How much more we need to go into soft focus where you're aware of everything around you, and
Mhm.
then this is almost like a meditative state and that I think what you were saying, Eleonora, about breathing, anything that encourages this uh, uh, refocusing from internalizing everything is in your body. To dance tango, you need to experience and feel so many things beyond your own awareness,
Mhm.
whereas most people are actually in their head.
Mhm.
21st century life teaches us to be in this head,
Mhm.
and not in our body.
Mhm.
And so let me paint something. I'm not a painter, but it just came to my mind that just to show people what they see and what we see. So
Mm.
I'll be very quick. Okay, it's just an example. That's what we feel,
Uh-huh.
and it can be different direction. Like a house. That's what we feel in our body when we move with a micro movement.
Mhm.
Mhm. That's what we see. So, for example, we dance, so we feel this, but people cannot see this. They can just they can just. But what they see only like straight, back, side, forward,
Mm-hmm.
left, right. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Down, up. That's it. What they can see. It's
Mhm.
people. They're observing the person, and then they can see only four directions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
hmm And when we dance, we feel this, and they can see this.
Uh-huh.
So it means
Mhm.
many things, many little moments happening in our body that helps us to feel comfortable, but not to let people see how hard we are working.
That's interesting. That connects back to the chair, drawing the chair.
Mhm.
People oversimplify what they see in the tango. So the left, right, forward, back. Whereas
Mhm.
the whole experience, if we could actually find a way of teaching dance, like drawing the space around the chair, they would
Mhm.
possibly feel all of those new dimensions and energies.
Mhm. And it seems like music is something like that because a beginner dancer looking at a dance performance, let's say on YouTube, all they see is the feet. They just look at the feet. And some other level of dancers, they look at their connection and the embrace. And some other level of dancers says their connection they have towards the audience. That's like it's like we're coming out from little to the large. And another level of person observing that performance and talking about the way they use the music, which is something that surrounds them. It's a little bit like the negative space surrounding the chair. Music is surrounding these dancers, Yet music is also something coming out of the speakers of that laptop that they are watching the YouTube performance, is coming in their ear as well as they're watching something in this direction. So it's something much more three-dimensional actually happening. And being able to connect the shape and the directions, Eleonora, you're showing in their body to the music that they are hearing from another angle, it gives the audience a pleasure, you know, that they feel like, wow, what a unison, what a, you know, gathering of the visual and auditory that's somehow combining together. Then things are much more interesting.
First of all, I will say a little bit about musicality, that sometimes when teachers teaching, only because they heard the song a million times, they can sing it, they can understand, they know how to dance, they know how to express themselves, but there is a problem when they start teaching. Mm-hmm. They cannot explain on which moment, where, which beat, how, and they say, but I'm doing, why don't you do? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's about explanation, you know, and many people, they can hear, they can express, but they cannot explain. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, and this is also a big problem for tango community, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, and about connection when you dance with a partner and you're working with this expression, yes, like, and I think it's connected to the breathing idea, because once mm-hmm. you can feel how your partner is breathing, you can pay attention for this, and you can use the moment. When you feel, for example, papa, and then you feel that your partner goes a little bit like more shy, as you said, yes, or more calm, you know, this is a time, if you understand your body, you can do you can play if there is music, yes. If not, what I really do like to experience sometimes, I just follow my partner, like you're just jumping into the big black hole, and you're just trusting to your partner, like with whatever he leads you. You're not just looking around in the black space and where's the light? Where's the light? Where, like, you're watching it. You're not observing what's outside, so you're observing only your partner. That's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. The example Murat gave last time we spoke about the dancer who cancelled the rest of his lessons because you were trying to get him to hum the melody and he was blocked. I think this aspect of embodying expression and emotion, quite a few people are blocked on that side as well. And as much as they can see it, they admire it in good dancing, when you actually get them, when you try and encourage them to connect to the music with more emotional meaning, they can't do it. And so it's like the quality of a dancer, the quality of a tango dancer is very much influenced by the life they had before they danced, their experiences. You know, if you have an extrovert, or if you have someone who's used to putting themselves out, like they've had acting experience, it's much easier for them. But you have someone who's very shy, very not really in their body, not confident to present themselves. They, as much as they want to dance this, it's another level of blocking their ability to dance. And that's these things are all around the periphery of our challenge as teachers to try and work out what level of blocking are we dealing with.
True. Steve, it's interesting you mentioned this, because this comes with the other side of the token. As well as dancers need to really get in touch with the way they can use their body and project something out from their body, which is very important, as you put it. At one point in the career of dancing, I should say, the ability of coming inside your body, little bit like Eleonora is talking about this when she talks about the breathing exercises or acupuncture, as you mentioned the last time, the Tango acupuncture. It's so true that one level or one section that we need to find within ourselves by being either introvert or by concentrating within ourselves is a kind of a place we unlock the next quality as a performer or even as a teacher. Because as much as we, yes, want to show what we are feeling, but we also want to take the people into what's going on inside here, you know? It's like a way of performing that sometimes you perform at the audience, right? And that's where usually the audience are like, wow, and they clap like so loud. And then another version of performing is in a way that you almost make people sit at the edge of their chair and then they almost like they fall onto the floor. And at the end of those dances, they usually don't clap very hard because they are more like, oh, that just touched me in the heart. You know, it brings them into you, like it's a suction effect into the center instead of projecting out. So I agree that students, I think, or dancers need to be aware of the ability to express outwards the dance, the music. In the meantime, you find a lot of amazing stuff there that you can actually play with. And that's the introvert quality of the dance. Like being able to listen to music as a dancer and in allowing that music to speak to you, whisper at you in such complexity. And then you don't do anything for the other people, but you just get mesmerized with that internally. A little bit like an introvert who finds the happiness and finds the joy by turning himself or herself introvertedly, you know, inside. It creates a kind of a quality that makes people, you know, adore the quality of the movement or adore the synchronicity that person has with the music. It's another level. It's so beautiful to combine both.
Yeah. Debbie's been having a huge paperwork clear out, and we found the list of teachers from our first Tango Tank in 2004, and we had tango teachers, but we also had a drama teacher. There was a bodywork specialist. So we were looking at the dance from this very holistic aspect of learn the steps, learn the music, learn to present yourself, learn how to control your body. And a lot of people in 2004 weren't ready for that. They only wanted the steps. The music, oh, okay, we'll take the music, but steps, give me the steps. And as much fun as it was to actually have a room full of people, and Sebastian, who's an amazing teacher, he was getting us to, I can see the moon. He was literally getting people to act and create, communicate with word and body, and also non-vocal communication. But most people weren't, they just didn't get it. But this aspect, this holistic aspect of the dance is more than just steps. It's more than just music. It's about acting. It's about performance. It is about non-vocal clarity.
Communication.
Yeah, communication, but also very clear non-vocal. Have you ever tried to mime? To tell a story without words, but we're so dependent on the voice and the words.
We have a game like this.
Oh.
It's called Crocodile.
Crocodile.
Yeah.
It's not something kinky, is it?
No, I don't know. So one person tells you the word and you have to express yourself, show like, imagine like, what is that? Like a pig, yes. But you cannot pronounce anything, no word.
You can't speak. But this is essentially the sort of skills that we would call on if we were trying to dance the difference between a very emotional D'Arienzo violin solo or the very strident beat of D'Arienzo. that we have to embody those ideas emotionally. And I think most people are completely untrained in this aspect of dance.
That's true. I think it also comes with some challenges. If someone dancing tango and give himself or herself entirely to the music.
Eleonora is frozen.
Yes, I see that. Uh, should we imitate the posture? Oh, she's gone.
Oh,
Okay, I was gonna mimic her standing, but she's gone. Maybe she'll be back. She was something like that. Maybe she'll be back. Let's hope she'll be back. It's very likely for a man or a woman giving themselves to the music in the tango dancing and then giving themselves to each other. And it kind of like puts them in a cocoon in some way. Like the music comes in and they're in a cocoon and they have this amazing relationship there for the entire tanda, you know? And then at the end of the tanda, they break the cocoon and they go and another cocoon starts there somewhere else. And one downside of the cocoon, which is like dancing for years in milongas, that you don't learn how you look, or you don't learn how to express something outside to the others, you know, outside of the cocoon. And that's where I remember going through this challenge within the rehearsals, because when you start to perform and you look at your videos, you say it's a good dance, but it's not for the audience, it's for yourself, you know. So you need to really take this out and unleash yourself from the cocoon and make it appear from outside as well. So you're right. I mean, that's I think all dancers, especially in that level of their dancing, they somehow need to learn how to really act and express themselves outward, like more into the distance. And I mean, there are so many students, Steve, I have here in the lesson, a guy and a girl, and he is looking down, okay, at where he's going to take a step. He's going to take a step there. That's where he's dancing to. And she does the same thing. She goes into him. She can get lost. She's buried in. And then, you know, when you talk about, hey, why don't you think maybe about the outside the window when you are walking? Think about you're walking to the next building, or think about this floor is 200 meters long, and think about you're walking towards the mountains, and then all of a sudden their face goes up and they still take 3 steps to go there. I'm not telling them to walk for 2 kilometers, but they now have the image of opening themselves into the distance. This is coming from, again, dancing the milongas. Because dancing milongas for years, you're only dancing to the next meter and a half in front of you. And if you make that your dancing, the day comes that you need to perform in front of the audience is not 1 meter away from you. They're sitting 10 meters, 15 meters away from you. So you need to somehow like open yourself from that cocoon and express it a little larger and project everything a little bit more out to them, as well as bringing things into you and creating that strong vacuum effect, strong enough that it can actually catch on to someone who is sitting 10 meters away by bringing them in. And there's one nice simple way of doing this now I think of is the pause, is the silence. Yeah. You know, pronouncing the silence in the music and pronouncing the silence in the dance, it makes those people look at you, like their attention, their eyes zoom into that small place, like maybe your face, and they look at like, what's gonna happen there, you know? That moment is very strong vacuum moment that now you get them, you know, into the dance. And then small little gestures that you do makes a big difference.
Eleonora's saying, I took Steve's turn, the light shut down, she's lost connection at her end.
Oh my God. Sorry.
Yeah. And you're right. What you were saying earlier about the very almost abstract description of the instructions for the iHearTango, no beat, listen to what's coming, is starting to move away from this immediacy of a very simply defined universe that you're dancing within, a beat. But this is listen for what's coming, and so you have to move away from this and open your awareness. And I think I hadn't really twigged how subtly clever that was. So, bravo, maestro.
Well, thanks to you
Like
too.
it. Mind as you were describing that, because I also use poemo with the difference between the lovey-dovey section and then the staccato. I actually make that, it's like you've given your loved one flowers, and she looks at the flowers and says, "Oh, there's a card here, and the card has got someone else's name on." Problem, they understand, they can hear the difference between the legato and the staccato, but what they haven't got is a language of movement for the two energies. And I think this is, I'm not sure if it's because it comes easily to you and to me and to dancers who've got this understanding of the different textures of the music. And maybe this is the bit that's missing, where iHearTango could explore more. Exactly. That there is a very simple emotional vocabulary of movement, so that people could actually take a few simple ideas and think, yeah, okay, like a stamping step is much more aggressive, and there's someone else's name on these flowers, than a breath and a hug and no movement at all. And that people are finding there's a block. I honestly think that there is a block in many dancers to actually find a way of moving with a connection to the emotional content of music. Good tango is communication through movement, rather than just steps. And to communicate, you want that you need to have an idea that you want to communicate across the embrace, before you can even start to construct a language to communicate it. So I'm sort of talking a thought that maybe one of the reasons that people are blocked is that they're not trying to communicate. They're simply trying to absorb. The communication is monodirectional. They're not actually forwarding an interpretation of what they're hearing. It simply goes in and they move without any intention of communicating.
You're right. I mean, don't you agree that you see this in the classrooms with the students, that they receive the information, you tell them, you teach them something, and they get it here, but then there's this huge gap between what they know now and how it's going to actually come out in their body. I encounter that very often. Like just an example, hearing the staccato in the music and telling people like, okay, now that you hear the sound of this sharp staccato and walk with this, but then they walk in the same way that how they were walking before, and that gap between they got it but their body doesn't know how to actually make it happen.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
And that part is called what dancing is, because before that part you're not a dancer, you're thinking about it, you're understanding, you're processing here. I mean, we should dance there for sure. It's useful, it's important to understand the dance there, but dance is something that needs to be felt and experienced in a bodily sense too.
Wow, there's lots of good stuff in this.
Yeah. We lost Eleonora, and I think she is not able to join us. Looks like.
No, there's another message from her.
How are you getting these messages that I'm not getting? Let me look.
On the phone. She sent a little video of a storm outside her window. 5 seconds of really bad rainfall.
Really? Oh, now I see it. Oh, okay.
So I think she's probably given up.
Okay, let's do that.
Or we could send her the video. If you were going to do another iHearTango, what music would you choose?
Oh, good question. I think it would be La Comparsita.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I mean, I can tell you a lot about La Comparsita. I mean, do you remember the time that you and we sat down and we said, okay, what can we do about La Comparsita? I want to teach a class about La Comparsita, but what ideas can we, create? And then when I visited you in Bromshaw in England, I actually asked you like, hey, would you teach a class about La Comparsita? Am I right? Am I right
Yeah.
saying this? Or was it in La Fresnette maybe?
Yeah, and I went on, I actually made a compilation of 10 orchestras.
Yes, you did teach a class.
Yeah.
You did teach, and I came and joined your class. We took the class, and then you played piano in the class, and then you worked on La Comparsita. Was that before or after where we were in the Masters Week in La Fresnette?
I think that was before.
Before.
I'm
Did
sure it was
we?
before.
Yeah. Okay. So that class was inspiration, and then of course before and after I was working on La Comparsita as well a lot, for a pure simple reason why it's one song that everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's one song that is played more than all others. It's one song that is most of the times, not always, dedicated as the last song of the Milonga experience. It's one song that was recorded more than any other song. One song that was interpreted by more orchestras than any other song was interpreted.
You can see in the snapshot of the same music, the idiosyncrasies of all of the major orchestras. Their
Exactly.
interpretation is exactly, it personifies their idea of orchestration and playing. And
Exactly.
yeah, fascinating. I
Plus
like it.
what Astor Piazzolla once said, that other than the fact that he hated it, he said this is the worst, the most frightening song in the history of tango, and even though he recorded 4 recordings of La Comparsita himself later on, but he said something like, it's like a model, ugly model, that is trying to improve its looks by dressing in better ways. That's how he called La Comparsita. And that's how he kind of interpreted the fact that all the orchestras were playing La Comparsita. And it's true in some way, and I did use that in the classes that I teach about La Comparsita, saying that, hey, there's this plain melody in the bottom of this, not even written by one person, because he wasn't able to play the section C that Roberto Firpo wrote the section C to add in. So there was this collaboration, and ownerless collaboration, like he wasn't able to ask for the copyrights and stuff in the time. So then everybody took this piece of melody and made it their own. So Piazzolla was somehow right that it was like a bastardized piece of melody that was dressed in different ways by all orchestras and artists, which gives a tremendous opportunity for us teachers to introduce the different styles of orchestras by looking at one song. I mean, if we all understand La Comparsita, and I choose the one by OTV, the Orquesta Tipica Victor version of it, that is so plain and is so true to its origins, in my opinion. I start the class with that. And then after everybody understands what's going on in the section A, what's going on in the section B, what's going on in the section C and stuff, then when I play the Di Sarli version, everybody's like, oh my God, this is what he's doing there. Look. And I say, that's how Di Sarli's music is. I don't need to talk a lot about how Di Sarli, makes. Then if they have one reference, one template in their mind that is so clear, then if they see the second version of it, immediately your eyes will see the differences, right?
Yeah.
And then again, the Biaggi version. Biaggi starts with the upbeat. Then that's Biaggi. Immediately you can say, okay, Biaggi is very strong on playing with the beat and playing with the upbeats, and he takes sometimes the downbeats off. You don't even hear the downbeat, you only hear the upbeats, and then syncopas, and then somewhere in the middle of the song, tango, that the guy starts to sing, you know. So when you hear these kind of things, you can say that's how Biaggi makes the music, and that's how Pugliese makes, you know. That's why I thought maybe we should choose La Comparsita.
Yeah.
And honestly, like for iHearTango or not, I was planning to use La Comparsita for like a nice video to put up on YouTube soon about how to understand the song, how to listen to a song. And that can be an iHearTango project.
And I think your recent videos, probably since lockdown, on breathing, circular breathing, and the eights in different planes, would be the basis of the step further of hearing the different orchestral styles in La Comparsita and the different themes and the different like storylines within one big book. The book of La Comparsita is for dancers to find their voice, their non-vocal voice, their movement by what is the difference between legato and staccato in your movement. And the students that I'm having the same experience, that someone dances two completely different dynamic phrases the same way, but they are pretty sure that they are dancing the difference. But I see nothing, no change. So maybe the connection on your latest work with circular breathing and extending that into legato staccato, which provides, you're actually suggesting the first stepping stones of a vocabulary of movement that matches. This is not steps. These are qualities of movement that match the quality and dynamics of music. This is really good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, let's do the La Comparsita as the next project.
Yeah.
Good. I should let you be, and maybe let Debbie to, take you to dinner.
I've really enjoyed talking to you both. It's a pity that Eleonora's connection wasn't very good, but yours is brilliant. It's like watching a video.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, because I had some problems with the internet as well in the past, and I think seems like we have resolved that.
No screen.